This week, I learned how to sleep well, for how long, and I'm sharing it with you.
All right, let's talk about something we all do, but very few of us have actually mastered: sleep. We tend to treat it like a luxury, right? It's the first thing we cut when life gets crazy. But what if I told you sleep isn't a luxury at all? What if it's a critical, high-performance activity that is the foundation for, well, everything else you do? Let's dive in and explore why this forgotten superpower is really the key to unlocking your full potential. And this really gets to the heart of the matter. In our 24/7 world that just never seems to stop, is sleep just a nice to have? Something we can trade for a little more productivity, a little more screen time? Or is it a non-negotiable biological mandate? How you answer that question for yourself can literally change everything about your health and your life.
Well, you know the experts? They're not wishy-washy on this one at all. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine calls it a rigorous biological mandate. Just listen to that language. It's not about feeling a bit less groggy in the morning. This is about a set of biological processes that are just as critical to your survival as breathing or drinking water. It is an active, powerful state of self-repair.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to unpack why sleep is your forgotten superpower. Then, we'll get into the non-negotiable numbers, how much you really need. After that, we are going to master the art of the nap. Then, we'll learn how to engineer your perfect night's sleep. And finally, we'll walk through a powerful 5-step countdown to sleep.
Okay, first up, sleep as your forgotten superpower. Let's really get into what's happening when you close your eyes and why it's one of the most powerful, restorative things you can possibly do for your health.
I want you to pay close attention to this phrase: physiologically compromised. This isn't just about feeling a little sleepy at your desk. It means that on a cellular level, your body isn't working right. Your systems are under stress, and your ability to perform mentally, physically, emotionally is fundamentally, and I mean fundamentally, impaired. Think of these as the 4 critical jobs your body is doing every single night while you're asleep. Let's start with cardiovascular integrity. At night, your heart rate and blood pressure are supposed to drop, giving your whole cardiovascular system a much-needed break. If you skip that, your risk for hypertension, heart attack, and stroke just skyrockets. Okay, next up, metabolic regulation. Sleep perfectly fine-tunes the hormones that control your hunger. When you're sleep-deprived, the I'm hungry hormone, ghrelin, goes through the roof, while the I'm full hormone, leptin, just plummets. It's a perfect recipe for overeating. Third is mental resilience. While you sleep, your brain's waste disposal crew gets to work, cleaning out all the metabolic junk that builds up during the day. If you skimp on that, your brain's emotional center, the amygdala, becomes hyperreactive. It's like your emotional thermostat just breaks. And finally, immune optimization. Your body produces these amazing infection-fighting proteins called cytokines while you sleep. Just one night of bad sleep can seriously reduce your body's frontline defenders. It's literally your immune system's nightly boot camp. Okay, section 2, the numbers. We've covered the why, so now let's get right into the how much. This is the hard data on what your body actually needs to perform all those critical functions we just talked about. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? We hear all these stories about hustle culture and high-powered people who claim they only need 4 hours, while other people swear by 10. So what does the science actually say? What's the real, clinically backed answer? And here it is. For the overwhelming majority of adults, the expert consensus is crystal clear: 7 or more hours. And let me be really specific here. This isn't a suggestion for ideal sleep. This is the mandatory minimum you need to avoid doing physiological harm. Getting less than 7 hours on a regular basis leads to the slow, cumulative decline in performance that you might not even notice because you're literally too tired to see it. But of course, that 7-hour rule isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. Our sleep needs change dramatically throughout our lives. Just take a look at this chart. Our needs are highest when we're youngest. Infants need a massive 12 to 16 hours because their brains are going through this explosive growth. Teenagers, they need 8 to 10 hours, not because they're lazy, but because their brains and bodies are still under major construction. As we hit adulthood, things settle into that 7 to 9 hour sweet spot. And for seniors, the number stays pretty similar, around 7 to 8 hours, but the real challenge becomes the quality of sleep, because that deep, restorative sleep gets harder to come by. So go ahead, find your age group on the chart. That's your target. All right, let's shift gears from nighttime sleep to daytime rest. In Section 3, we're going to master the art of the nap and reframe it from a sign of laziness to a seriously powerful tool for boosting your performance. You know, the key to a great nap is understanding this one critical difference. On one side, you've got the power nap. We're talking just 10 to 20 minutes. This is perfect because it keeps you in the lighter stages of sleep, so you get a quick mental refresh without the hangover. But on the other side, you've got those longer naps that push you into deep sleep. And if you wake up from that, you get hit with what's called sleep inertia. You know that awful groggy feeling where your brain feels like it's stuck in mud? A power nap is designed specifically to get you all the benefits while avoiding that crash. So how do you do it right? Here are the 3 simple rules. First, time it right. You want to aim for that natural dip in alertness that happens between 1 and 3 p.m., which lines up with your body's internal clock. Second, keep it brief. That 10 to 20-minute window is the sweet spot. And third, and this is a really critical exception, if you struggle with insomnia, if you have trouble sleeping at night, you need to avoid napping. Daytime naps clear out a chemical in your brain that creates sleep pressure. If you have insomnia, you need to save up all of that pressure for bedtime. Now for Section 4, engineering your night. This is all about building your perfect sleep sanctuary. We're going to manipulate your environment to send powerful, undeniable signals to your brain that it's time to rest. Let's start with a really cool piece of science, thermoregulation. You might think a warm, cozy room is the best for sleep, right? Well, it turns out your biology completely disagrees. To actually fall asleep and stay asleep, your body's core temperature needs to drop by about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit. So a cool room doesn't just feel comfortable, it's actively helping that process along, signaling to your body that it's time to shut down. Okay, the second key process is driven by melatonin, sometimes called the vampire hormone. Your brain only starts producing it when your eyes detect an absence of light. Now, any light can suppress it, but the blue light from our phones and our screens, it's especially powerful because it mimics the wavelength of morning daylight, the strongest possible signal to our brain that it's time to be wide awake. It's literally like staring into a miniature sun right before you want to go to sleep. So when you put all that science together, this is what you get. The blueprint for the perfect sleep environment. Your temperature should be a cool 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 15 to 19 Celsius. For light, the goal is total, complete darkness to maximize that melatonin. Use blackout curtains, an eye mask, whatever it takes. For sound, quiet is best, but if you can't control noise, white noise is a great tool to mask disruptive sounds. And finally, comfort. A supportive mattress minimizes pain and tossing and turning, which helps you stay in those deep, restorative sleep stages for longer. We've engineered the room. Now let's engineer the final hour before you get into bed. Welcome to Section 5, the countdown to sleep. This is all about creating a powerful pre-sleep ritual that acts as a bridge from the stress of your day to the calm of the night. Now, the master controller for all of this is your circadian rhythm. Think of it as the master conductor of your body's entire orchestra. When that conductor is offbeat because your schedule is all over the place, the entire orchestra, your hormones, your digestion, your energy, it all plays out of tune. A consistent schedule is the single most powerful way to keep that conductor on time every time. So here are 5 steps to put that into practice. First, consistency is king. Go to bed and wake up around the same time every single day, even on weekends. Sleeping in is like giving yourself a mini dose of jet lag. Second, create a screen-free buffer. Put all your devices away at least 60 minutes before bed. Third, have a wind-down routine. Read a real book, take a warm bath, listen to some calm music. The activity itself matters less than its consistency. Fourth, avoid evening stimulants. Caffeine can stay in your system for over 6 hours, and while alcohol might make you feel drowsy, it absolutely wrecks your sleep later in the night. And finally, try cognitive offloading. If your mind is racing, just write down your to-do list or whatever you're worried about. This literally gets it out of your head and onto the page, allowing your brain to finally power down. As we start to wrap up, it's so important to remember this isn't about finding some magic pill or flipping a switch. You are retraining your body. You're realigning your daily habits with your fundamental biology. So be patient with yourself, stay consistent, and just trust that these small changes will absolutely compound into a life-changing result. So now it's over to you. We've covered the science, the numbers, and the strategies, but knowledge without action is pretty much useless. So I'll leave you with this one simple question. Looking at everything we just discussed, what is the single first step you are going to take tonight to begin this journey? Are you going to turn the thermostat down, put your phone away an hour early, or just commit to a consistent bedtime? The choice is yours.
So, did you learn something new today? Share it here. I want to know about it too.